Hey everybody, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green. I'm going to look at the plants today. Happy Valentine's Day weekend, everybody. Sending my love to you. First thing that I wanted to look at was, as you guys know, I've had an issue with snails for years and years and years, and they kind of come and go. And I noticed that some of my Cattleya rexes were, the root tips were being eaten off and stuff. And so, I've asked you guys what different solutions to the snail problem have you found, and several people said hydrogen peroxide is the way to do it. And so I went ahead yesterday and I bought 3 big things of hydrogen peroxide, and I soaked a couple of the Cattleya rexes completely in it. This one got completely submerged, and I posted the video on my Instagram yesterday, and I got like close to 1,000 views in less than one day, and a lot of people were like, "What are you doing? You have killed the microbiome of your roots, and your plants are gonna suffer from this." And other people are like, "You got it! You killed all the snails. That's gonna work fine for you." So, I got so many mixed responses that really the only way that we're going to know exactly what happens is if we just watch very carefully. So so far, obviously it's just been one day, so not seeing a whole lot of change, but I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this plant, especially on the roots and especially on new roots that are coming out. It was actually starting to pop out some new roots down here on the side. So it's going to be interesting if those new roots continue to come out and continue to grow. So that will be something to look at. This plant also got soaked in it, and you can see it's got some new root growth there on the side there. So we're going to see if those continue to grow out. And then this big mama over here also. I didn't submerge it because I didn't have enough, but I just kind of poured the hydrogen peroxide over the mount, over the roots, in the bottom of the pot especially, and yeah, we're gonna see. A couple weeks ago I made some divisions, took a lot of divisions actually, and those seem to be coming along okay. These are Vanda falcata divisions. Right now they're just kind of sitting lightly in sphagnum to keep them moist. And hopefully we'll see some new root growth on those. These are the RLC Jesse Lee divisions, and as you can see, they are rooting very nicely. Hopefully those will continue to grow out and get those really nice and established for the auction that I am planning on having in late May or early June. And the purpose of the auction is to fund an order from Peruflora that I made last week for I think 5 or maybe 6 different varieties of Cattleya rex. Actually, it was 6 different varieties of Cattleya rex from Peru coming as flasks, as seedlings, and they are supposed to arrive in April. So fingers crossed. The order altogether was about $350, so hopefully it's going to be good. I've seen some mixed reviews on Peruflora, but overall positive, so hopefully that's gonna come out okay, and I'm gonna have a whole new crop of really, really interesting and different varieties of Cattleya rex to grow up over the years. The Catacetums were also divided. These will be auctioned off in the spring, and you can see that the furthest along in this Signotis Wine Delight, and you can see this is really the crucial stage in Catacetum growing, when you don't want to water, when you want them to be dry. As the new roots are pushing out and starting to find their way into the media, all the experts say this is the time to keep the plant as dry as possible and let those roots extend out and search and search and search for water, growing as long and as strong as they can. And then when they get towards the bottom of the pot, you can start watering. And the plant obviously has got plenty of reserves in this huge bulb. Now I do ask myself, these divisions that I made, they, you know, when they were part of the whole plant, they weren't ever intending on putting out any new growth, but now that they're the only bulb, they're a single bulb, they have to put out a new growth in order to continue growing. So I'm kind of interested to see, first of all, where the new growth pushes out, if a new growth pushes out at all, and when that's going to happen. The plant kind of has to realize that it's been separated, and then it has to realize that it needs to put out a new growth in order to continue. So it'll be interesting to see. A lot of big single bulb divisions, but I would expect that we're going to see some growth on those hopefully in the next month or so. Dendrobium Country Girl bloomed for us. Lovely, lovely blooms around the end of the year last year, and it's got some new buds poking out now. Just the top here. Unfortunately, it's not the whole cane. That's okay, those will be welcome. I'm pretty sure this plant is going to be up for auction as well. Cattleyas seedlings are doing nicely. These are Dowiana. That was kind of interesting. This one has a little bit of pink on it, and then these look a little bit more white. Don't know if that's going to have anything to do with what the plants look like when they are adults, but they've got many years of growing before that happens. Some more Dowianas here. This is a little Blossfeldiana. These are the rest of the Blossfeldianas here. Really good, strong root growth in those. See that red coloration? It's amazing because the light is actually quite far away, but I have heard that these LED lights have a different type of intensity, and that the foot candle meter isn't really a good way of measuring how much energy the plants are getting. But if this coloration is any indication, they are getting plenty of light. We've got some little Rex seedlings here putting out new roots. This little dude here. These are, you can see tiny little roots coming out of this little Rex here. So these are probably 5 or 6 years from blooming. Hopefully I still have orchids at that point. As you guys know, I use indole 3-butyric acid as the main ingredient in my rooting fertilizer, and you can see the results. It really causes, it doesn't cause new roots, it just causes side roots, branching roots to come out. And there's a really good example over here. Check out these roots. See how there's little new roots all along the main roots there. Little pointy ones popping out. Really, it's good to increase the lateral branching of the roots on your Cattleyas. The Rexes are doing pretty well. I noticed that the ones kind of in this area have a bit, their bulbs are a bit shriveled, you know, kind of shrivelly here, kind of shrivelly here. And this is directly under the fan. Now the fan is kind of diffused a little bit. You know, it's got this, it's got this 2-liter bottle kind of diffusing the air a little bit, but it still comes down. And I wonder if it's the air movement. It's too much air on them that's actually drying them out. But honestly, I'd rather them be a little too dry than too wet. But I am going to increase the watering frequency a little bit more and see if I can get them a little plumped up. Because even if they're putting out new growth, I don't think they should be that wrinkly. I think they should be a little bit more plump. This one is the first Rex. This was the largest one when it came out of the flask. Gosh, when was that? 7 years ago now. This one was already about 6 inches tall, about this tall when it came out of the flask. It was a monster. So it's putting out a new growth this year, and hopefully that new growth is gonna be a big one, and it's gonna push out and bloom this year. I don't know if this other eye is gonna kind of split there, but it's been like that for a while, so I don't know if it's actually gonna grow out. I took lots of bulbophyllum divisions. Down here you can see these are Lovely Elizabeth in kind of closer to us, and then in the back there we have some Medusae. divisions. Those will be up for auction in May, June. The big Phalaenopsis is finally kind of opening up. This is just a big grocery store Phalaenopsis a coworker gave me last year. And it's got really nice big white flowers. I don't think I'm going to keep this one though. I might just sell this locally on like a local orchid growers board because it's too big. It's huge. Phalaenopsaurus is its nickname. These are my only Paphs, my smaller Paphs. I've got a bigger one up in the top there, but this one I have had trouble with for years with rot, and as you can see, it is starting to rot again. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to let it run its course. If it kills the plant, it kills the plant. I'm tired of fighting it. I would like to know what I'm doing, or what I could do better with my Paphs. They're not super happy. I don't know if it's the medium, I don't know if it's the way I water. More information that I read and see, it seems like the watering technique is really important with Paphs. Maybe I just don't have that down. The cattail orchids, there are 5 divisions of this cattail orchid. This is the largest one. I'm going to keep this guy. It gets pretty big. You can see it is starting to grow out there. The new growth this year is coming out, and it's doing pretty well. And one of the seed pods fell off last week, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. It does look like it has seed in it, and it I'm collecting that seed. I'm going to send it to the lab, and that pod that came off is this plant as a mother, and then this plant as the pollen parent. So this was the largest, the most aggressive grower, and potentially the biggest flower. So that one pollinated this one, and that seed pod is gonna hopefully give us some good seed. This little nobile dendrobium, putting out lots of nice little roots, and hopefully that new growth is gonna get nice and big this year. And then right next to it we have Dendrochilum tenellum, kind of a grassy little thing, and these typically bloom in the spring, so it should be within the next month or so. If it's gonna bloom, we should start to see the little bloom spikes coming out the side there. Alright. Alright, let's have a look at the seed pod that's collecting seed. Oh, this one has started to turn yellow as well, and so I've got the big infusion bag on that to catch it if it falls, and hopefully we'll get some seed off this one. Alright, let's have a look at the seed pod. As you can see, it's cold and snowy outside. We are in, I think the low this weekend is going to be like -20 Celsius. It's like -5, -3, -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Really, really, really cold this weekend. But anyway, here we got the seed pod. And in the very bottom there, oh, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you should be able to see it. In the very bottom there, you can see that white powder. It's kind of blurry, and you can see it inside the pod as well. And all those little white specks on the seed pod, on the outside of the seed pod, are seeds. So hopefully some of those are viable. They have little embryos inside of them. And I'm just going to keep shaking this guy and trying to get the seeds to fall out for a few more days. And then I'm going to wait until the temperatures are above freezing. And then I'm going to send that to the lab. And hopefully we'll get another few flasks out of it. Also, if you remember, I had the Fred Clark Desert Davison got awarded last month, and I kept all the flowers as they fell off. Just kind of, I don't know, I'll probably throw them away eventually, but it's nice to see them out here and watch them dry out slowly. Really nice flowers. Alright guys, that does it for my green pets this week. Oh wait, I'm going to show you one more thing. This Phal schilleriana, it has still got a little cakey growing off the side. It's got a new leaf growing off the old growth. This leaf is starting to get that pitting again. So I would assume that this leaf is toast, and maybe that whole growth is toast, I don't know. Will this plant survive, or is it just slowly dying? Don't know. It's been about a year since it lost all its leaves. Not quite. I think it happened in the summer of last year. So we will see. We're just gonna keep letting it truck on, and maybe it will survive. Okay, so that's all for my green pets for this week. Thanks for stopping by, and we will keep you updated. I do usually daily posts on my Instagram story just to show little things that are happening throughout the week, and then be happy to put out another video next weekend. Alrighty, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. Bye-bye.